What's going on, everybody? It's Sasha, your market expert here in Charlotte. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another monthly market report where this month we're actually gonna see the changes in the numbers. As you know, if you watched the market reports for the last 2 months, I've told you I've been seeing a lot of changes with the people I've been working with and with the transactions that I've been having lately. But for some reason, in those last 2 months, the numbers, the stats that I had were not reflecting those changes at all. So I was super confused as to why, but that really doesn't matter now because now we are seeing the changes. I'll give you a quick spoilers because I'm very excited because we're having these changes. Almost 30% increase in inventory as compared to last year. And for the first time in 12 months, for the first time in the last year, we have a decrease in the median price point. As you know, if you watched last month's market report, we hit an all-time high of a median price point of $400,000, which is absolutely insane. And I thought it would take us a little while to get up to that point. And now it's going down, which is honestly a good thing. It's gonna bring a lot more affordable housing to people that need it. And so people can actually afford to buy a decent home in a decent area here in the Charlotte area. Now, before we get into these actual stats, I just wanna talk to you a little bit like I always do about what I'm personally seeing in the market. And I'm gonna choose my words carefully. I want to say that the market has done a complete 180, a complete turnaround from what it was 6 months plus ago, which honestly it has. Don't get me wrong. Don't take this information the wrong way. Houses are still selling very fast, and for the right house, it will sell and it will have multiple offers. But comparing it to 6+ months ago, it's night and day. It's honestly night and day. Most of the houses that I'm seeing now that would have sold within multiple offers within the first day or two and sold within that first weekend that it got listed, they're sitting on the market for a couple days, a week, 2 weeks, some even 3 weeks or a month, which is insane to even think about. I've been on go, go, go mode these last 2 years, and it's been extremely difficult. It's been extremely difficult with helping buyers, but now it's easing. It's easing. I feel great about it. And don't get me wrong, I do not want the market to go down an insane amount. I don't want people to get hurt. I don't want anything like that to happen. I want a neutral market. I personally believe in win-win situations. Sellers had an extreme amount of leverage during this last 2-year run that we've had. And honestly, I might make a video one day telling you some of these horror stories that I've had. You would not believe what some people were doing, and at a certain point, some of the stuff was almost disrespectful. My clients offered you $30,000 over ask, and you can't give us $1,000 in credits to make a couple repairs. That to me is not okay. So I believe in a win-win situation. I don't want the market to go full tilt where it's crazy, where the buyers are being a little bit too greedy and things like that. I want a neutral market. I want a market where the sellers can win. They can put something on the market for a realistic price. A buyer can offer a realistic amount. You can negotiate a realistic amount for repairs. Get some things taken care of where both sides can be happy, not where one side is taking advantage of the other side because of XYZ and because of supply and demand and things of that nature. Good news is we're heading in that direction. We're heading in that better market, and I'm so excited for my buyers that are shopping now, what we're going to see in the next couple months, what we're going to see in the next 12 to 18 months coming. You're going to see more inventory. We're going to see better prices, and you're actually going to have options. You're actually going to have options. You're going to be able to look at homes for a couple days, a week, maybe 2 weeks. Nothing's ever guaranteed. If the right home pops up and the right buyer's there, it's always going to sell fast. But we're loosening up. Like I said, it's almost done a complete turnaround, which I'm very excited about. Again, I want a neutral market where it's good for both parties and both parties can be reasonable. Now, if there's anything I can ever do for you, call, text, or email me anytime. I'd love to answer your questions and help you in any way that I possibly can. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what you're thinking about the real estate market. I'm always curious. And a quick side note, there's this other YouTuber out there, 100 times bigger than I am. He's got like 100,000 plus subscribers and all that stuff. He does market reports, and he does like 5 a week. So it's a lot of kind of doom and gloom stuff, and he's been doing them for a couple years now. But the last one, I usually don't watch him. I don't want him to influence anything that I say. But the last one that I recently watched, he went over the top 10 places that he thinks are going to have the biggest decreases and that are going to have a bad real estate market downturn. Charlotte was not on that list, but there was a place in North Carolina that was, and it was Raleigh. According to some of the stuff that he said, Raleigh has a huge increase in new inventory, 150+%, I believe. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I focus in the Charlotte market. I'm here in Charlotte. I'm here to help you in Charlotte and the surrounding areas. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with new listings because we have some interesting numbers that we're going to go over. So in regards to new listings, we had 5,992 new listings in the month of July, and that is a 6% decrease from this time last year. And this is very interesting. It's over 500 less new listings than we had in the month of June. Looking at this stat, it almost doesn't correlate with, we actually have more inventory, but we do have a little bit less new listings, which is very interesting. But this number will change, I'm sure, in the next market report, because based off the stuff that I'm seeing a lot more listings hitting the market, and I'm seeing people advertise homes that will be hitting the market in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks that are getting advertised now. The reason they do that is they want certain people's eyeballs to be on that house, and they're hoping that some buyers will wait to buy a house until that particular house comes on the market for whatever reason, but they are doing that. But I do predict we are going to see the new listings go up. However, right now, it's showing us that they're going down in the month of July. Now let's get into pending sales, which came in at 4,478 home sales pending. That's a 14.6% decrease from this time last year. Based off the pending sales, you can see that buyer demand is going down. Obviously, high prices and high interest rates are playing into this, which is causing the demand to go down, and our supply we should be seeing up. So when you have higher inventory, lower demand, guess what? We're going to see lower prices coming very soon. Even though we already have it, they're going to be coming even more. Now let's get into those prices that we talked about, with the average sales price coming in at just above $458,000 in the month of July. And that is a 15.4% increase in average sales price year over year. But we are seeing a $15,000 decrease from the month of June. As I mentioned, this is one part of the equation that we're seeing, that the sales prices are going down. A lot of sellers have priced their houses unrealistically and too high. That's why when you're looking at houses, you're going to see a lot of price decreases happening. And before, 6+8 months ago, when seller would do a price decrease, it would be very minimal. A couple thousand, maybe 5,000, maybe in a good scenario, 10,000. Now, if a house isn't selling within the first couple weeks, we're seeing bigger price cuts. We're seeing 20, 25, 30. I've even seen $50,000 price decreases within the first couple weeks. So like I said, this is the first piece. Now let's move on to the median sales price, which came in at $385,000 for the month of July. That is also a 16.7% increase from this time last year. But when comparing it to the median sales price that we had in June, which was $400,000, we're down $15,000 on median sales price. As I mentioned, this is the first time in 12 months, possibly even 18 months, that we've seen a big price decrease in the median sales price. So you know that I'm thinking within the next 12 to 18 months, I think we're going to see a 10 to 20% decrease in prices. So we've just in the last 2 months, we've seen close to 5% of a decrease comparing it to the month of June of that $400,000 price range. This is very good news as long as we keep heading in that trajectory, which I definitely think will happen as demand is already softening and as we're seeing more listings coming on the market. Now let's talk about days on market, which came in at 15, and that's a 7.1% increase from this time last year and a 1 day increase from the month of June. Now, this stat is a great stat to take a look at. The more days a house is on the market, the better it is for buyers. The less days houses are on the market, the better it is for sellers. Now, the reason that this is very interesting, because you know from my previous market reports that this really didn't make too much sense, because it was still saying, 12, 14, 15 days, even when houses were selling within the first weekend or so. But this now it being at 15 is a lot more realistic. As I mentioned, I'm starting to see so many houses that would have sold within the first day, 2 or 3 of hitting the market. They're now sitting for a couple days, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Some are even sitting for a month, which was absolutely unheard of 6+ months ago for some of these houses. And I do plan on making a video showing you, giving you an example of some houses that would have sold extremely fast that are still sitting on the market today and that might have been sitting for the last couple weeks. But this number being at 15 is a lot more realistic to what it was before. But keep in mind, as I mentioned, the right house and the right buyer, it will always sell. But we have a lot more leeway now. As I mentioned, buyers are starting to get more options now, which is great news if you're a buyer in this market. Moving on to the percentage of the original list price received, which came in at 100.3. That's a negative 1.5% decrease from this time last year, which is great news. And based off this, it's still over 100%. So essentially, this stat is telling you that when a house is listed, you can expect to pay 0.3% above the listed price. But again, this varies by a case-by-case basis. And I will tell you guys right now, prices, everything in real estate is negotiable, and especially the price, and especially now as buyer demand has gone down and as we're seeing more inventory come to the market. Now for my favorite and least favorite, at least these past 2 years, stat of all time, which is month supply of inventory, which came in at 1.4. 1.4, which is still extremely low, but we are moving up. Last month it came in at 1.1, so that's a 0.3% increase from the month previous, and it's a 27.3% increase in inventory from last year. 27.3% increase in inventory from last year. This is amazing news. This is what we have been waiting for. Options. Buyers to be able to have more houses to look at, more options to choose from. This is what we've been wanting. Now, I don't want to burst our bubble really quick. This is still a seller's market. This is still a seller's market. Anything under 3 months is considered a seller's market. 3 to 5 months is considered a neutral market. Anything above 6 months is considered a buyer's market. However, as I mentioned, there's a lot of room to be had. There's a lot of good deals that you can potentially snag up right now because a lot of sellers are feeling a fear of missing out. And if you're able to get someone at the right opportunity, it can open up an opportunity for yourself. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.